There's a lot of things that you juggle when you're an entrepreneur and when you're an authorpreneur, and I'm gonna be talking through some of those little bit of ethical things that you might wanna consider, and some of them are quite egregious and some are not so much, but they're things you might wanna consider. So stay tuned.
Are you an entrepreneur, small business owner, or consultant looking to boost your authority, influence, and impact? The Author Switch podcast with best-selling, award-winning author Carma Spence is your answer. Tune in for actionable advice, powerful strategies, and engaging interviews to turn on your author switch and take your business to the next dimension.
The Author Switch.
Hello and welcome to the Author Switch podcast. My name is Carma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write and publish and market a lead attracting book. And that can be done in as little as 90 days. So here we go. Today, I'm asking, are you struggling with the dichotomy of staying true or selling out? Basically, there's all these ethical challenges that you might face as an entrepreneur, and I'm going to be talking through them in this episode. So, the first one is, how do you define success? And how you define success actually affects how easy it is for you to slip into some less than ethical behavior or areas. So you need to clearly define what success is for you and understand how that affects your actions. So, do you define success through traditional numbers like how many books you sell or how much money you make every month? When you are trying to reach that as your only metric, you may be tempted to do behaviors that are less than ethical. There are other ways you can measure success that can help balance that, like what's the impact you're making on the people that read your book? What about personal growth and knowledge as you go through your author's journey? Or maybe sustainability in your business practices. How well can you maintain what you're doing in order to reach your other goals? So when you have a mixture of goals, it creates checks and balances that helps you maintain true to your values. Where are entrepreneurs traditionally tempted to sell out on their values? Well, some might be, okay, I need to eat tonight. So I need to make X number of dollars and I'm going to sell this item to whomever I can sell it to. If you're not doing well financially, that can be a temptation to sell out because sometimes you may decide to make business decisions that are more based on keeping a roof over your head than doing the right thing. So that behooves you to have a successful business so that you're not put into that situation. Another area that you could find yourself in some gray area is altering your writing to fit your market. That one's a tough one because you want your book to suit your target market, but you also want to stay true to who you are and what your values are. And that's why when I talk about when you create your idea for a book, you want it to be in the sweet spot between what your goals are, what your readers' goals are, and what you're passionate about. When you're able to balance those 3 things, you stay in a much more ethical zone because you're not just considering the reader, you're considering yourself as well, because not all readers who are interested in your topic are your readers. And so you need to stay true to yourself so that you're only attracting those right fit clients. There's also the thoughts of short-term benefits versus the long-term benefits. So if you're going for those short-term benefits, sometimes you might cut corners where you don't want to cut corners. And that was actually one of the reasons why I switched out my original idea of publishing a book a month, because I was finding that in order to come up with the quality of book that I wanted, I was really hard pressed to turn it around in a month. There are certain kind of books which are easy to turn out in a month, but the ones, especially this last one is almost 100 pages, 8.5 by 11. If I was to put it into a 6 by 9, which is your traditional books, it would probably be more than that. And in order to really give that book its due in the quality that I wanted it, I needed more than a month. I decided to go with the long-term value of my readers and giving them the value I wanted to give them rather than to meet an arbitrary goal that I had given myself of a book a month. So when you're thinking of long-term and short-term goals, take the time to invest in relationships with your readers and your clients. That gives you it's a little harder in the short term, but it gives you long term. Also, there are 3 types of clients. There are the ones who make decisions quickly and you sell them that easily. Then there's the ones who need to be nurtured a little bit more and they'll buy in a couple of months. And then there are the long-term nurtures that may not buy for you for a year, maybe 2 years, but they will buy from you. And if you are focusing only on the quick decision makers, you're gonna be missing out on all those people who need a longer time to make a decision. And what's wonderful about those people is that they stay in your world and eventually they become part of your clients in addition to all the other clients you're having. So they actually build a little bit more longevity for you. Now let's talk a little bit about ethical marketing practices. For some people, it can be very easy to be tempted to do less than ethical marketing strategies in order to meet a bottom line. And sometimes it's hard to stick to your values and do the more ethical marketing practices because it can lengthen the sale. But if you use honest and clear language in your marketing, if you prioritize consent based marketing strategies and you highlight real stories and real testimonials, I think you'll win in the long run. So here's a case in point. I was testing out a software where you can give it a URL, like a URL of your sale page, and it will create a short for you. So it has the watermarks because I didn't pay and I wasn't going to. I will share this with you in just a moment, but it is a short. And what I liked about it is everything that's said in it is essentially true, meaning the results you can get are true. However, watch how it presents that information and you'll understand why I was that's a little skeevy.
Every entrepreneur has a story, but imagine having your story open doors you never thought possible. That's exactly what happened to me after diving into Get Your Book in the Door by Carma Spence. Transforming my published work into a powerful tool, this book didn't just teach me. It guided me through leveraging my book to attract premium leads. If you're ready to see your story unlock new opportunities, grab your copy today. Trust me, it's a game changer for any entrepreneur.
You see what I mean? That person was AI generated. You can get her to say anything. And that isn't a real testimonial. Nobody has given me that specific they could, and what I generated this before the book came out, so no one could have. Now you can pre-order it and it'll come out on the 21st, and somebody could give me a testimonial like that, but I don't feel comfortable putting out a video that says, "This person got these results," when that person doesn't even exist. So, yes, that's an AI generated thing. So watch what you're saying. Be honest, and things just work out better that way. Now, for a real commercial that I wrote. Have you ever felt like you're standing at the edge of a vast, uncharted wilderness, knowing your book lies somewhere beyond the horizon, but not sure which path will lead you there? Hi, I'm Carma Spence, and I've navigated the complex terrain of being an author many times. I've learned that if you want to write an effective book, you need an outline or roadmap to guide you along the writing journey. That's why I've written All You Need Is the Right Roadmap. This book isn't about handing you a one-size-fits-all outline. It's about empowering you to chart your own course. Just as every explorer needs a map, every writer needs an outline. It's not just a list of topics. It's a living document that guides your journey from the first word to the last period. Inside, you'll discover the method of plotting your business growing book's path, ensuring your book includes what your audience expects as well as what they're looking for, but not finding. It's about making the writing process more efficient, enjoyable, and most importantly, successful. Whether you're embarking on your first writing adventure or are a seasoned author looking for a more structured approach, this book is your compass. Let's travel together and bring your ideas to life. All you need is the right roadmap, available now on Amazon. Hello, and welcome back to the Author Switch podcast. I am Carma Spence, and I help entrepreneurs write a lead attracting book in 90 days or less. Now, before the break, I was giving sort of the more foundational information about juggling the ethics of being an entrepreneur. And I talked about how to define success, the temptation to sell out, long-term versus short-term goals, and ethical marketing practices. Now I'm going to go a little bit broader and I want to talk a little bit about integrity. What is integrity and what does it mean to you? And how can it help you be a more successful author? Now, I might have a little vested interest in this because integrity is one of my top three values. Well, authenticity is, and authenticity for me are, they're not the same, but they are so intricately tied that you can't have one without the other. I believe, and this is my argument, I believe that when you have integrity in your business, you have a better chance of having a more successful business. You're not going to weather the slings and arrows of people being mad at you because you lied to them. Honestly, you're going to be able to sleep at night better because you know you did the right thing in every instance. So, here are some ways that you can practice integrity in your author based business. First, always credit sources and collaborators openly. And this builds trust. It builds trust and respect in your professional network as well as with your readers. Personally, I love cheering on the people. And if anybody credits an idea to me, I am the first to say, that wasn't my idea. If, of course, it wasn't my idea. If it was my idea, of course, I'll take it. But if it's not my idea, I don't take credit for other people's ideas. I don't feel right doing that. And I think that that makes a difference. You should also make here's a litmus test. Always make decisions that you are comfortable having be public knowledge. If you are embarrassed or don't want your decision to be known in the public, then maybe you should take a second look at that decision because it's probably not in alignment with your values and it's probably going to bite you in the butt later on down the line. So if you are willing to get on social media and say, I made this decision, kind of like I did an entire podcast where I talked about making the decision to stop doing a book a month and making a little bit longer with my books. I really struggled with that decision. But ultimately, I am very confident in that decision. And I was willing to go public with why I made that decision and how I came to that decision. And so if you can't do that, then you might want to give that decision a second look see. Also, when you can, offer a satisfaction guarantee. Now, there's different kinds of guarantees that you can offer. You can offer money back guarantees. You can offer guarantees that say, if you don't get it, I will help you until you do. There's guarantees where, like, if you've got like a membership, you might say, you can quit at any time, no contracts. Those are things you can do. Those all show integrity. Transparency with your readers is another thing you can do to have an ethical practice in your authorpreneur business. It's important to be upfront about affiliations, sponsorships, and financial interests, especially in promotional content. So, for example, whenever I link to Amazon, it's a pretty safe bet that I will get a few cents if you buy something. Amazon's affiliate will not pay the rent, but I do, even for my own books. Now, obviously, if you buy one of my books, I'm gonna make some money, right? Duh. But I also add my affiliate link to the Amazon link to my book because that adds just a few more cents. Now, if you aren't comfortable giving me an affiliate commission of a few cents per whatever you buy, then don't use my links. And I have that information. I have a disclaimer on all my websites that say I am an Amazon affiliate. And often I'm an affiliate of other people too. And I disclose that as well. I even disclose when I get things for free that I review. So for example, I get books occasionally that I review online and I say, I got this for free in exchange for my review. Now, that said, when I get something for free, I don't feel compelled to give it a good review. It depends on my relationship with the thing. If, for example, I've had books that I've gotten for free that I've just never reviewed because the book was so bad. I I I need to be able to say something nice about a book. I feel personally obligated to support my fellow authors in the ways that I can, and one way is to not give them a bad review. I'll give them a mediocre review, but I will not give them a bad review. Sometimes I am given a product where I'm required to post a review of it, and in those rare instances, if it's really bad, I'll give it a bad review. Now, I've been very fortunate that I haven't had to do that, but that is a decision I've made. Now, that said, you might find one bad book review out there that I did when I first started doing book reviews back in my 20s. And I was under obligation to provide a review, and it was a terrible book. And later, I started getting more books by this author. I could recognize this person's writing style. They went by several different n and at those points, I usually just refused to write a I would just give the book back. This person had great ideas, fantastic ideas, amazing ideas, and implemented them terribly, terribly. Anyway, I just don't publish those things, so I'm not even gonna tell you who that author was. Anyway. You also need to balance creativity with commerce. And I did talk about that a little bit in my last episode where I talked about are you a writer or are you a business person? And I'm going to approach it now from a little bit more of an ethical role because, again, if you want to stay true to your values and creativity is one of your values, which happens to be in mine, you always want to revisit your creative goals and see how they match up with your financial goals and see how you can get them to work together. And there's different ways you can do this. You can create a broad product range. You can simplify and go deep in what you do offer. In fact, that's actually what I'm doing. I used to like go, here's a book, here's a book, here's a thing, here's a what I'm doing now is you can either buy my books on Amazon, which are gonna be quite diverse. I love writing books. I don't intend to stop. But my product and service offering, I'm narrowing it down, and I'm gonna go deep into those things that I am offering so that the people who invest in them are given absolutely amazing value, and I'm not spreading myself thinly so that no one gets the high quality that I feel my clients deserve. You can also establish passive income streams and vehicles. So, for example, my books, they're not a big passive income stream, but they are a passive income stream. Yes, I have to market them every once in a while, but it's not like I'm going out and schlepping my books door to door. So that is a passive income stream. And that's part of the reason behind my burst in book publishing is that I'm trying to build that stream up so that it grows enough so that my first goal, pay one bill. And I think that's a good goal for you. I actually got that idea from one of my mentors, not my idea. Don't want to take credit for where credit is not due. But yeah, pay one bill. And then once you've got that bill, start adding, pay another bill, and then pay another bill until suddenly all your bills are being paid by your passive income streams. And that is what I have for you tonight. I would love to hear what your ethical concerns are about being an entrepreneur. Put them in the comments and I will be checking into them. And I might even do a future podcast on this topic if there's enough interest. This is Carma Spence saying ciao for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Author Switch podcast and would like to show your support, there are a few ways that you can do that. First, I encourage you to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Additionally, leaving a rating and review would greatly help me reach more listeners and continue providing valuable content. To stay up to date with the Author Switch podcast and gain access to additional information on amplifying your authority, influence, and thought leadership through books, you can follow me on LinkedIn at Carma Spence. For those interested in catching up on previous episodes, including those no longer available on podcast platforms, you can find them all at authorswitch.com/episodes, where you can choose to watch or listen to them at your convenience. Thank you so much for your support and for being a part of the Author Switch community.